Ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. We're going to be talking about Palantir as they have breaking news, and they have just recently announced the third quarter 2023 earnings release and the webcast that's coming along with it. Why this is exciting is because it's coming sooner than we were expecting, and that was November 6th or November 7th. The date's sooner. We're going to be talking about that. There's adjustments and important factors to look for, especially in this earnings. We're going to be picking it apart with a fine-tooth comb. Lots of eyes are on the stock right now. And especially what we've seen with recent trading patterns, Palantir is on a 7-day consecutive winning streak, which is the longest that it's seen in a year. Up 21.7% on this week. It's important to look at this trading pattern, and especially with Palantir right here. What could the future bring? If you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you guys. Now, let's pop it up on the screen here, what you came to see, which was the breaking news about Palantir. Now, Palantir, this is going to be coming with earnings for that next quarter, Thursday, November 2nd of 2023. Like I said, remember the upcoming quarter earnings, this isn't even updating yet on Seeking Alpha, was still on November 7th. Earnings per share right now is predicted at about 6 cents. One big thing about Palantir is that we've seen 5 bullish revisions for earnings per share in the last 90 days. So why this is important is because lots of eyeballs, like I said earlier, that are looking at Palantir. This quarter earnings is also going to capture a lot of the revenue from its new AIP platforms that it's selling to a lot of its clients. And what we've seen Palantir in terms of a contractual basis has been signing tons of contracts in the previous few weeks. And why that's exciting is because we're seeing them tapping into various industries. Although still a majority of the revenue is coming from government, they're also starting to tap into different types of industries, such as the healthcare industry, as they are the top bidder for that United Kingdom National Health Service contract, and also with the large collaboration with the PwC firm. Now, one important thing to know about this earnings release here is it's going to be coming prior to the US open markets, not after markets. Palantir is going to host this webcast right here. It's going to be available at investors.palantir.com, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So get your coffee, get your computers on, get your phones on, because there's going to be a lot to dig apart, especially with this new earnings release coming here in the future. With that being said, what we're seeing in terms of trading is, pop it up on the screen, Palantir has great consolidation today. Short-term support building at about the 1750s, 1760s. We're seeing short-term resistance at about the 1820s, and basically finding consolidations right at the 18. With that, you have volume 57 million. Looking pretty well, lots of interest still, and still over its 50-day moving average, which is at approximately about 50 million. Market cap at about 38 billion. Things are getting exciting for Palantir. We have this especially, that Palantir stock rose the largest winning streak in more than a year, as the stock was actually able to close in the green here today, just up 0.11%, still in the green technically, but basically at a consolidation, is that this marks the longest winning streak for Palantir shares since October 4th of 2022, when they did rise for 8 consecutive sessions. Now, here's where everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt for Palantir, because the shares have advanced 21.7% over the current 7-day session stretch. What we did have, remember, was that large influx of trading that happened on Monday when Palantir shot up nearly 6%. And what we did have and what we saw was lots of conflict happening in what we've seen with Israel. That kind of conflict going on there is a large demand for higher security, and Palantir works with the government to help bring more security measures via AI analytics software companies. What I'm basically saying is that demand for Palantir has really risen, and the conflict in the Middle East has exacerbated that demand. And we saw that with that 6% and kind of helped launch Palantir into this $18 range. Now, will Palantir be able to beat its last piece of resistance that we've seen in the last quarter earnings, which is at $20? It's sitting at a sweet spot right now. And especially if Palantir is able to accomplish the high bar that it's been set at in terms of those 5 bullish revisions we've seen for Palantir, we could possibly see a breakout. However, Palantir is still up over 182% on the year. So everybody will sit back, well, what about its valuation? It's very, very high. Well, Palantir is really rebranding the way that it's actually delivering its products to clients. And like I said, it hasn't captured the revenue growth that we've seen with the AIP products that just came out about 6 months ago in terms of the rollout. So once that gets fully captured, I think we're going to get a better glimpse of Palantir, where although we're up 182%, it's important to note that Palantir is actually still down 53% before the AIP products were even around, before its all-time, down 53% from its all-time closing high of $39. So Palantir is at an interesting spot. It's profitable, number one, and it's one of the most trendy stocks right now, which can be a good thing, also a bad thing at the same time. However, they seem to be delivering the expectations, and they seem to be actually fulfilling the expectations that Wall Street is giving them. And looking at Palantir and what we've seen, I wanted to talk about this because I thought this was important, was their conjunctions in improving their margins on profitability. And especially already profitable, which is great. Number one, they've hit step one. Number two is increasing the margins in terms of profitability, looking at their return on invested capital over time and comparing that to the weighted average costs of capital. Motley Fool gives a great article here breaking down this chart, basically tracking and showing these trends that are flashing bullish signals for the software specialist stock. Looking at the return on investment capital, you can see right here in 2018 goes from about negative 50% and starts to climb, and where we are right now is basically at negative 2%. With just a small increase in that average cost of capital, we're seeing that return on invested capital keep on improving over the previous few years, and likely could turn into a positive percentage here in the near future. And this is looking very encouraging, and I would agree with the Motley Fool and the person that wrote this article here, basically saying that calculating this and combining this is that we're seeing that the profitability is improving in AI, number one, and among Palantir, and empowering this new growth. And especially over the previous few years, we've seen stocks really take a hit. However, Palantir has really been able to outpace that, along with the AI surge that we've seen in 2023. Palantir has really been a leading stock in that terms of surge, and a lot of investors coming back in and taking a bullish opportunity, even though we have a lot of inflation, even though we see the federal funds rate, and we see lots of other interest rates that are increasing that should make a lot of the stock market come down. However, AI is kind of outpacing that right now. People calling it a bubble, or will it be here to stay? That's going to be what earnings might give us a more confident outlook on what we could possibly see in here in the near future, and how Palantir still has explosive potential. However, I do want to acknowledge that it is currently valued at approximately 73 times this year's expected earnings. So with that being said, if we go back here to November 2nd, if we go back here, if Palantir misses or is in line with the earnings, we could see a correction possibly. And if we zoom out on Palantir, get back to where we were, look at the trading patterns in history, because sometimes history does repeat itself. It's not a guarantee, but it can happen. Palantir was sitting at around the 16s. We had a lot of hype coming in before its last quarter earnings, and we hit the 20s right here. As soon as earnings were released, Palantir comes back down to the 15s, or to basically to the 14s right here. Consolidates at the 15s. You can see the exact same amount of confidence is coming back into Palantir literally as we speak right now. Possibly could we see a breakout before that earnings. We still have a few weeks even before November 2nd, but great to see that's going to be coming. And like I said, we're going to be picking this apart with a fine-tooth comb. Quickly looking at the options right here, and especially for November 3rd, I can see a lot of implied volatility coming around these strike prices that we do have. You see already some volatility right here, but especially when this news hits the markets tomorrow and being priced in with that new earnings outlook, we could see a lot of implied volatility, especially around this kind of $17, $18, $19 strike price area. So exciting news for Palantir. They've been doing a really good job delivering. We'll be keeping a close eye on it, and I really can't thank you guys enough for watching. I wanted to start the discussion. What do you guys think about Palantir down in the comments? If you made it to the end, Thank you so much for your support, for watching the full video. And like I said, we will be keeping you guys updated every single day on Palantir and keeping a close eye on earnings. Other than that, one big thing for Palantir that we'll be looking out for is, will they be able to fulfill and officially confirm that United Kingdom National Health Service contract? Remember, that's a big tap into the U.S. industry and can bring a lot of revenue. They're the top bidder right now. We need official confirmation, and that could really be another bolster for Palantir. So we'll keep you guys updated. Peace out. Take care. Have a great day.